All right, here's our problem set. So we've got use an area model to represent the following expressions. Then record the partial products to solve. Okay, partial products, we haven't done this in a little while, so it's going to be, kind of a refresher for you, all right? So here we go. So what we're going to do is use an area model to represent the following expressions. So we have 20 times 22. And this is what it's going to look like. So it's 20 rows of 22. So if we have area models, when I see this multiplication sign, I also can think of it as rows of. Okay, rows of. Rows of is what you would say. So 20 rows of 22. Rows go this way. Okay, so we're going to put that 20 down right here. Okay. Now of 22, so the 22 would be the columns that we have coming down. So what we want to do, you see how they're split up into two different area models here. You want to take that 22 and break it into a 20 and a 2. Okay? That seems pretty interesting. So we have 20. So now we've got two different area models. We've got a 20 by 20 and a 20 by 2. Right? So if you remember, opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So that means this is also a 20. This rectangle here is a 20 by 2. So it's basically 2 times 20. So here what we've got 20 times 20. So let's just write that in there. Right? What that ends up being is that what I want to do is I can say, well, I've got 2 tens times 2 tens. So it's 2 times 2 is 4, right? And what I need to do now is say, well, it's not just 4, it's 10 times 10. What is 10 times 10? If you said 100, it's correct. So this is really 400. Does that make sense? And then over here, it's 2 times 20. So it's 2 20s, right? So it's really 20 times 2, but using the commutative property, I can just say 2 times 20 and get the same thing. So 2 20s is 40, right? If I did 2 times 2 is 4, put my 0 on the end, just 1 10 makes it 40. So what do I end up with? My answer is 440. Okay, so what that looks like as a partial product, okay? As a partial product here, I could say 2 times 20. See this right here? 2 times 20 is 40. And 20 times 20, see that here, would be 400. And that comes out to be 440, okay? So the first one, let me get a couple different color pens here so we can see that. I'm gonna get a pink and maybe like a little green here, okay? So this pink here, this 40, this came from 2 times 20, like over here, okay? See that? We did that right there. And then what we did was since we split up the 20, we did this 20, because that 2 stands for a 20, right? Because it's in a tens place. 20 times 20, and that was our 400 right there, okay? And we add them up, we get 440. All right, and that's what it looks like as an area model. All right, let's try it again. Slide this way. Good. Okay, so I'm here at 50 times 41. All right, so 50 rows of 41. So rows go this way. So of course I'm gonna have my 50 here. Now I'm gonna break my 41 so I get a nice even 10 in there in the leftover. So I'm gonna break this into what? Do you guys know? That's right. I'm assuming there was a correct answer out there. It was a 40 and a 1. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So now up here, we've got 50 rows of 40. All right, so what I want you to remember this is 5 tens and 4 tens, okay? Because that's what that 0 stands for. So it's really 5 times 4 is 20. And 10 times 10 is 100. So I put my 2 zeros in the end. You just bring those 2 zeros down. This ends up being 2,000, okay? Here would be 1 times 50, so or 50 times 1, 50 rows of 1. So that would be 5 times 1 is 5, but it's really 50 times 1, so it's just that anything times 1 is 50, okay? Great, so now what we've got is the same thing. We're gonna try to repeat what we did over here using our partial products. This is the partial products method. So the first thing I wanna do is take this 1 times 50, and I'm going to write that down here. That's 50. Okay? Now I'm going to change colors. Now what we're going to do is say, all right, I've got 40 times 50, which we already figured out over here, and that's 2,000. And that comes out to be 2,050, just like that. Okay, sounds good? All right. I mean, I'll be honest with you, none of the teachers here in this school learn this way. And it's something that we're constantly learning as well. And when I look at this is something that is new to me, and I'm seeing how it's done, and it's helping me understand numbers better, all right? Now, there's a lot easier way to do this, like a simple process, but understanding how these numbers are put together and how you can manipulate them will make you better mathematicians. Okay, here's this one. 60 rows of 73, or 60 times 73. All right, so teachers, feel free to pause here and kind of work through these problems together in a class and kind of test the kids out of what they know already. If you're one of those kids who wants to try it on your own and kind of just scoot ahead a little bit and see how you're doing, feel free. So we're going to keep moving. So this is 60 rows of 73. The rows always goes here, so that's 60. And then I got to take my 73 and I want to break it so I have a nice even 10. So that ends up being 70 and 3. Okay? Now I got my multiplication problem here is 60 times 70. And over here is 60 times 3. Okay. So what I did up here was I said, I just said it out words. I said 5 tens times 4 tens. Well, here is 6 tens times 7 tens. So if I know that, I can say, what is 6 times 7? If you know your multiplication facts, it's go boom, pops right up in your head. That's 42. Okay. And then I asked myself, well, these are tens. So what is 10 times 10? It's 100. So this isn't just 42, it's 100, 4,200. I got to add those two zeros. That zero goes there, that zero goes there. So this comes out to be 4,200. And then 60 times 3. We know how to do this. We do 6 times 3, which is 18. But then this is not just 6, it's 6D. It's 6 tens. So I got to put that 10 there, okay? It's 180. So what does the partial product look like? Looks like this. We say 3 times 60, which is right here, right? That comes out to be 180. And then what I say is, all right, what is 70 times 60? That comes out to be 4,200. Just like that. I add those up. Use my blue pen here. 0, 8, 3, and 4. 4,380. Cool. All right, let's work on to the next one. All right. Remember, you want to look back at your work and feel pride. Okay, so here's this. Now it says draw an area model to represent the following expressions. Then record the partial products vertically to solve. Okay. So remember, we just had those rectangles, right? We're going to make a rectangle or a squarish rectangle, and then another small little thin rectangle on the side there, okay? I'm also going to just draw a line down here to separate 4 and 5. 4 on my 5. Okay? So remember, 80 times 32. My 80 goes here. Then I'm going to split my 32 into a 30 and a 2. Okay? This is 80 times 30. And this is 80 times 2. Okay? So now what I do is say, all right, well, what is 8 times 3? If you remember, that's 24, right? Take my two zeros, because that's a 10 and that's a 10, bring them down. I get 2,400, or 2,400, okay? And then over here I do 8 times 2, which is 16, but it's not just 8, it's 80. So I got to put my 10 on the back there, so it's 16 tens, or 160. Okay, now I show my partial products. Which I do over here, I say, all right, 32 times 80. Notice that we're always putting the 10 at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is say, all right, do the ones place. So 2 times 80 is 160. And then I say 30 times 80. That's a 30 because it's in the tens place. And that was 2,400 or 2,400. I add those up. 0, 6, 5, 2, 2,560. Okay? Let's try this one. Gotta do the same thing as I did over here. So let's draw little rectangles, like a square here, then a little rectangle on the side. It's 70 times 54. Okay, where do these numbers go? That 70 is a rows of, so 70 goes there. And then 54, I'm gonna take that 54 and make sure I got an even 10. Do that, 50, and then 4. Good. So now what I'm gonna do is say, this is 70 times 50, and this is 70 times 4. Okay, so remember this is 7 tens times 5 tens. So if I say 7 times 5, I'm gonna get 35. 10 times 10 is 100, so I need my hundreds on the end. So it's 3,500. Here it's 7 tens times 4 ones. So if I do 7 times 4, I'm gonna get 28. But it's really a 10, so I only have one 10. I gotta bring that 10 down here to make it 280. Okay. Now I've got 54 times 70. Then I do 4 times 70. That's 280. And then I do 50 times 70. And that's 3,500. And I add them up. What do I get? 0, 8, 7, 3. Okay, that's a partial products method. Just like that. Okay. Now down here it says visualize the area model and solve the following expressions numerically. Okay. So what we're going to do here is visualize. So what we want to do is visualize the area model that we see here in our heads, but not draw it out. Okay, and then we're going to do the partial products method on this, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So let's write this down. We've got 30 times 68. But I'm going to put my 68 on the top so we can hold the 30 on the bottom, okay? Just like that. All right, so now, if you remember, we did the ones place here first. We did 80, or 8 times 30. All right, so that's what we're gonna do first. We're gonna do this group here, okay? So 8 times 3. Do you remember what that is? That's right, it's 24, but it's not just 3, it's 30. So I'm gonna say 8 times 30 is 240. So 0, 4, 2. Notice it's 240. I got everything still lined up. My ones place, my tens place, now here's my hundreds place. Now I'm going to do 60 times 30. Okay, because that 6 is in the tens place. So I know it's going to be it's at 60 and 60 times 30. It's going to be end in 2 zeros. It's going to be that hundreds. So then 6 times 3 is 18. Put the 18 there. Add them up. What do we get? 0, 4, 10, 2. 2,440. Neat, huh? Okay, we're almost to the end. We're almost there. I have a feeling you're doing pretty good here. And of course, teachers are walking you through, giving their little tidbits on how it's done, and going from there. All right? So here's 34 times 60. All right? Now what I'm going to do first for partial products, I'm going to stop using my other pens, okay? What I'm going to do is just start using my brain here. So 4 times 60. So 4 times 6 is 24. my 0 there is 240, right? Because if I do 4 times 6 is 24, it's 240. Now I'm going to do 30, because this is a 3 is in the tens place, so it counts as 30. 30 times 60, so it's 3. So I know that I'm going to have 2 zeros here, because it's a 10 times a 10. 3 times 6 is 18, right? I end up with 0, 4, 10, 2040. Wow. Look at that. That's interesting, huh? Yeah, it's the same number. Wow, okay. And down here. 40 times 55. So, 55 on top, 40. Multiply. So, 5 times 40. Put my 0 there. It's 20. It's 200 right there, right? And then 5 times 40. Well, 5 times 4 is going to be 20 again. I need 2 zeros to hold my places, so it's 2,000. Add them up. 2,200. I'm starting to get it. So 55 over 80. So multiply those. And remember, start with my ones place here. 5 times 80. Right? So it's 80. So it's got to have a 0 at the end. And 5 times 8 is 40. So it's 400. And then I'm doing 50 times 80. Okay? So I got to put my 2 zeros here to hold, because 10 times 10 is 100, and 100 has 2 zeros. And then another 40 out here, so that's 4,000. Add them up. And there it is. Okay? All right, now this was the next step in our progression of understanding 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, okay? And multiplying by tens, all right? It'll get easier, and we're going to show you different ways as we move through, but it's important that you kind of use this and really think your way through it, okay? So as always, you should look back at your work and be proud of it, all right, on both sides, and go from there. All right, kids, nice job today. We'll see you tomorrow.